Hey, how's everybody doing today? Today we're going to review Unit 1. Everything we've done in Unit 1, these are some of the most missed questions that your teachers have been seeing. So let's go over it so before we take our test, we got them down. Alright, the first thing we did was perfect squares and square roots. So we had like the square root of 49, and we know that is 7. Then we had this one here that said the negative square root of 49. That means they want the negative answer, so that would be like negative 7. And then we saw this symbol here, this plus or minus symbol, square root of 49. That means they want two answers. They want the positive answer, so 7, and they want the negative answer, negative 7. And then we saw one with the negatives underneath the radical. And when it's underneath the radical, that means it's undefined or there's no solution. All right, the next thing we learned was a distributive property. So distributive property, remember you take the number on the outside and multiply it by the things on the inside. So this first example, it's a negative parentheses x minus 3 close parentheses. So remember there's really a negative 1 there, they just don't write that 1. So we take that negative 1 and multiply it to x, and that gives us negative x. And then negative 1 times a negative 3, because this is minus 3. And a negative times a negative gives you a positive. 1 times 3 gives you 3. Okay. My next example, the number's on the back side with that 7, but we can still do the distributive property. So it'd be 7 times x, or 3x will give you 21x. And then we also have 7 times 5. 7 times 5 gives you a 35, and I put a plus sign because it's positive. Remember, so if it comes at the end, you can treat it just like how it usually is written, with a number in front of the parentheses. It's the same exact steps. Take the number on the outside, multiply it to the things on the inside. Alright, the next thing we learned was combining like terms. So when you combine like terms, first you have to separate your terms. Then you have to identify your like terms. So 5x, negative 7x, and negative x are all the same. They're all the like terms. They all have a variable of x. So I can combine those. 5x minus 7x gives me negative 2x. And I can bring down the negative x. But there's no number in front of the negative x. So when there's no number, we know that there's really a 1. So really this is like minus 1x. So negative 2x minus 1x gives me negative 3x. So I'm done combining those, and I'm left with 10 and plus 6. And I can combine those because they're just numbers. 10 plus 6 gives me 16. It's a positive 16, so I put a plus. So my final answer is negative 3x plus 16. All right, in this next example, it's combining like terms, but I have parentheses. I have to get rid of those parentheses first. So I have to do the distributive property. So I take the number on the outside, multiply it to the things on the inside. On this example, it's negative 7, because remember the sign in front of a number always stays with that number. So negative 7 times x, and negative 7 times 2. So I bring down the 8x from here. Negative 7 times x is negative 7x. Negative 7 times 2 is negative 14. And now I can combine my like terms. Separate them, find my like terms. 8x and negative 7x both have an x, so I can combine them. That gives me 1x. In algebra, we don't write 1x, we usually just write 1. I'm done with those. What's left over is that negative 14, so I can just bring that down because I can't combine it with anything else. And my final answer is just x minus 14. All right, that was everything we learned in Unit 1 in a nutshell. If you have any questions, ask a teacher. Have a great rest of your day.